Welcome to our customer overview tutorial. This short tutorial is designed to give you a quick overview of a customer record and its associated tabs. It's recommended that you also watch our customer filter tutorial. It provides information on the power of the customer filter, which is found throughout the program. Every customer entered into the Edge has a customer record generated. You can search for customers either through point of sale or customer find. Like I mentioned a second ago, see our customer filter tutorial for more information on that. Once you find your customer, double click on them to bring up their record. It will open up on the General tab of their record. This tab contains all of their contact information. Notice there's a second column for spouse information. Spouse can either exist as part of this customer's record, or you can use the ID number drop down here to add them as their own individual customer record, or to specify another existing customer as this person's spouse. For people with spouses, you can use the couple field to specify how to display their names together. This is primarily for marketing purposes. If you leave this blank, the Edge will list them by their full names, starting with the primary person. You can specify additional addresses here, or additional phone numbers here, or additional email addresses here. Or you can edit any of the existing entries. You can use these checkboxes to set the preferred contact for each contact type. If no preferred contact is selected, this customer will be excluded from that form of contact. For example, if I don't pick a phone number, then this customer is essentially marked as do not call. If I don't pick a preferred address, then this customer is essentially marked as do not mail. That would exclude them from any mailing reports you ran. Same applies to emails. If you don't have a preferred email and you try to do a mass email out of the Edge, these will be automatically excluded. The first time you add contact information, it automatically gets set as preferred. The only instance where you want to worry about this is when someone requests that you exclude them specifically. Like if someone came in and asked that you never direct mail market them. You could uncheck their preferred address. So enough about contact. Let's hop over to the Other Keys tab. This tab shows you a few things. First, you've got acquisition. This is how you initially acquired the customer. If you use YINs at point of sale, then the YIN specified the first time this customer came to your store will automatically be filled into acquisition. Otherwise, you could specify this yourself at any time on a per customer basis. Customer type is one method of grouping customers. Some stores will use this to place their customers into their respective demographics. This can be useful for marketing purposes. Notice that when I click the drop down here, I don't get any choices. This is what's known in the Edge as a dynamic list. To start using it, you will have to manually type in the first entry. Every time an entry is typed in, it is remembered and will display as a list choice. To remove an entry, you would need to remove it from every instance that it was used. In other words, if I type in red on 3 customers, red will continue to appear in this list as an option until I remove it from all 3 customers. The rest of the lists on this tab work the same way. These custom numbered lists exist for you to do with as you please. You can go to System Options, Customer Options, and use the Custom Field Names option to rename these. Referred by is used to store the customer that referred this person to your store. You can manually fill this in. It will automatically fill in if you use our referral rewards program. And associate is used to link an associate to this customer. Some stores do this, some don't. On the right, you have a box that shows group lists and mailing lists, if any exist. If this customer was on any of the group or mailing lists, they would be checked. See our mailing list tutorial for more on this. The next tab is Balances. This will show any and all outstanding balances, including negative amounts that you owe them, like store credit. You can directly adjust most of these balances from here by clicking on them and hitting the Adjust Balance button. Then we have the Wish List tab. This will show any items this customer has on wish list. This can be printed for their friends and family. Note that you do not add items to the wish list from here. That is instead done through point of sale. The Activity tab keeps a list of all the customers' activity in your store. You can use the criteria filters to decide what kind of activity to show. You can then click on the list of sales and use the See Sale button to see a copy of the receipt, or the See Item button to see a list of items from that sale. There's also a Return Item button that will bring you to point of sale and automatically bring up the customer and the item selected for return. Next is the Notes tab. Here you can store any additional notes about the customer. The Pop-ups tab is used to create point of sale pop-ups. A pop-up is a message that will appear in a window at point of sale whenever this customer is selected. You could use this to set up a reminder about a customer, like something you had to tell them, or maybe they passed you a bad check, stuff like that. When you create a pop-up, you give it a title, then specify the date range that it's going to show up. You can ignore the field marked as done. If you mark a pop-up as done, this will fill in with the date time, and the pop-up will no longer show up. And the Notes area is where you type in the note to be displayed at point of sale. The last tab is Options. This holds some miscellaneous options for the customer. Check Tax Exempt if you aren't supposed to tax them. Check House Account to allow this customer to charge things to a house account. Note that there's a system option that controls whether everyone can, by default, use house accounts or only people who have this checked. Check Never Send Statement if this customer never wants to receive a mailed statement showing balances. On the right, you have Special Interest Rate. This is used to set up a fixed interest percentage on stuff this customer charges. Minimum Payment defines the minimum this customer has to pay per statement period. And Credit Limit places a cap on how much this customer can charge. And that concludes our overview of a customer record. We recommend watching the other customer tutorials if you haven't already.